The Shepard, a chronicle of Rosamund and the Reaper War. Mass Effect is copyright to Bioware. Verses by Charlotte Ann Kent. Canto 1. The Attack upon Eden Prime. Above the warmth of air we rise, through the frosty, turbulent skies, to where the blaze of heat and light clashes with black on the roofless heights. Away from the earth and out past the white moon, turning our prow from the sun's golden noon, we sail passing Mars and traversing the belt, far out in space where I've always dwelt. The ship, she hums and pulses as we go. Her hull is as white as the ice-crusted snow. Her fair prow is long, and her colors are blue. Blue for the fleet, for mankind, for the true. This is the Normandy's maiden voyage, the first time she's left her earthly anchorage. It's a quiet run to a colony world, young Eden Prime, of which I've long heard. Pluto the frozen looms up and goes by. Farther, round Charon, the moon of her sky, lies a great ancient structure, huge, black and bright, spinning like a whirligig in the dark of night. Flashing, pulsing blue light, in arms of ebony, like two vast mirrored sickles, from the bridge I see. This is the closest mass relay to Earth, though billions of miles the journey's still worth. Now all hands are bracing, all systems are right, and the Normandy dives to the piercing light. In a distant place in the depths of space, we and the Normandy appear apace. Thousands of light years leaped in but moments, swept through deep space and the mass relay's torrent. Off the bows, sweet riot of black and light. From the bridge, gulfs of glory blaze clear to our sight. The constellations are different here, and brighter the Milky Way appears. Far off I see a small sparkle of green, Eden Prime reflecting an alien sun's beams. Joker, the pilot, leans back in his chair, with a smug little grin and a triumphant flare. Beside me stands a tall grim Turian, Nihilus, he's called, a rust-faced alien. White stripes adorn his horny face. Full armor sheathes his wasp-like waist. He nods at the pilot magnanimously. That was quite good for a relay leap. It will please your captain. He turns and goes. His footfalls fade to mere echoes. Joker grumbles and mutters, I hate that guy, and turns to the helm, his fuzzy face wry. Lieutenant Alenko looks up from his station. He gave you a compliment, so you hate him. I hear the two of them debating our guest, only half listening, my mind's on our quest, and my eyes are on the green sparkle ahead. Though Joker has left what Nihilus said, that leap was incredible, not just good, and he has now declared the guy's up to no good. He doesn't trust Turians, or specters, and elaborates this in a portent projecture. While Alenko counters, we have no sound reason to accuse the stern Nihilus of ill will or treason. The Turians helped us design this new ship, and the Council would watch a prototype strip. O'er the calm to the bridge, a deep voice is heard. Commander Rosamund Shepard, I hear my captain call my name, Anderson, my father's friend, of great and well-won fame. His voice is serious, almost grim, as he summons me down to speak with him. I wonder aloud whence comes this gravity. The source is more than I can see. The pilot shrugs and resettles his hat. Oh, the captain always sounds like that. Alenko half smiles. I hear him aver, that's just when he's talking to you, Joker. Down in the comm room, Nihilus stands alone, a strange and fearsome figure, clothed in living bone. He turns to greet me with words smooth and fair, hissing through his lipless mouth in the quiet air. Mere light pleasantries his speech seems to be, small inquiries and praise o'er our colony. His manner is probing, of what I can't tell. Not of Eden Prime, I don't know it well. He turns to another, Elysium, and the day when Batarian pirates had come. It's me that he's probing. That day is well known. I was there. I rallied resistance alone, and led the colony's folk in defense until the Alliance sent reinforcements. But what significance does this hold for Nihilus? He is coolly but quite clearly curious. As we converse, he watches appraisingly. I wonder, what must a Turian see? Though I am tall for a daughter of men, I stand barely up to his mandibled chin. To a race with sharp spikes on the back of their heads, how strange must appear my soft strands of dark red. How shellless, how pale my bare face must seem, though humans have called it strong-boned and cream. I wonder, do 5 fingers rather than 3 make Turians jealous, or do they seem fussy? Firm, swift steps sound along the corridor, and Captain Anderson strides in the door. His strong frame is tall, his brown face is dark. On his blue uniform, bright metals spark. A red stripe runs down from his right shoulder, the uniform mark of an N7 soldier, the toughest within the Alliance fleet. I too wear the stripe, though I've not yet his feats. He tells me our shakedown run's only a cover. The Normandy's been sent to recover intact Prothean tech from Eden Prime. No greater discovery's been made in our time. It's big, Shepard, big, most seen for many lives. There's been none bigger since the Mars archives. What this might do for our technology. Now Nihilus's presence is clear to me. The Citadel Council has sent a spectre to watch o'er this beacon. It's quite past conjecture. Over the comm speakers, Joker's voice chimes. Captain, comlink from Eden Prime. On the opposite wall, the screen lights up. In the quiet room, gunfire erupts. A man is shouting they're under attack. He stumbles and falls, and does not come back. Now only sky can we see on the screen, red turbulent clouds like I've never seen. And darkly through them, like a great-fingered hand, there reaches a shape grasping out toward the land. Nihilus, the captain, and I breathless watch as it slides through the sky till the signal is lost. Well, says Anderson, this changes things. Suit up, Commander. Let your feet grow wings. I will summon Alenko and Jenkins. Heaven and earth. What was that thing? Armored in black, gloved, booted, and armed, I report to the bay to the sound of alarms. Lieutenant Caden Alenko, he from the bridge, in quiet stone-green armor, and eager Rich Jenkins, worked up just a smidge, swinging a rifle on his shoulder, are ready, 2 sturdy, bold Marines. We 3 make a standard alliance fire team. Jenkins once lived here, some few years before, and scarce seems to believe that below there is war. He's anxious to get there and join in the fight, yet he seems too buoyant, too sure it's all right. We're coming in close, for the door opens in, and the captain raises his voice o'er the wind, tells us where to find the beacon dig site, and tells us to get there, go not left nor right. But what about survivors, Captain? Alenko's rough voice calls the question. That beacon is your top priority. It must not fall to the hands of an enemy. I've sent for help. It will be here soon. Your job is just to secure that beacon. It's probably the target. Understood? Yes, sir, I say. I know full well that should a foe be the one to gain the new knowledge, all of our colonies would lose an edge. Approaching the drop zone, Joker tells us. Hey, Nihilus, calls Jenkins. You coming with us? Out of the shadows the Turian comes, tall, dark, and deadly, bearing his gun. I move faster alone, he says, and is gone. Empty and bare is the hatch he stood on. The Normandy swooped low, nearer the ground. The fire team leaps to a low, grassy mound. She's gone, and we stand in a vast and lovely land. Below us stretch away rich rolling cloud lands. Behind us, rough crags, red in the low light, rise up, crowned with leaves, to a steep, lofty height. A sharp, distant bark of crackling gunfire shatters the evening, makes the calm scene a lyre. Our prototype stealth ship slipped in low and quietly dropped off my team below, away from the gaze of enemy eyes, and whatever that was looming large in the skies. But just over the ridge, just out of our sight, lies the colony center, and a terrible fight. Quickly we climb through bramble and tree. I look to the skies, but no dark shape I see. As we run through a green and mossy dell, a large form moves, which I cannot see well. It floats from the brush, a lumpish grey mass. Two of us startle, but Jenkins laughs. They call 'em gas bags. They aren't any harm. I lower the gun I have raised in alarm. He's right, the thing ambles, or drifts, right by, scarcely noticing we three passers-by. Still laughing, he sprints ahead to the next bend. It's clear! And he goes. We hear the air rend. We seize our weapons, break into a run, dash round the corner, but see no one. In the air by a ledge, a tiny globe hovers, dipping and whirring, followed by others. We let loose a volley of gunfire pale. We biotically hurl them across the steep vale, with forces unleashed from our empty hands, in streams of blue light, fierce swift-streaking strands, seizing the drones in strong scintillating fields, biting right through the shell of their shields. Their blasts fly about us, some find a mark. Hot plasma against my barrier sparks. Though I stagger beneath the force of the blow, I am untouched, protected below. When the last globe explodes and falls to the ground, we call out for Jenkins and look all around. At the foot of the slope lies a silent form, grey. We reach for our omni-tools, run down and essay to render him aid, but he's far and gone. Red is the stony bank he lies on. Alenko stares down at the man on the rock. His white face is filled with what seems to be shock. I know that ere now he's seen battle and war, but his voice has grown smaller than it was before. He didn't have time to put up his shields. He hadn't a chance. Life's blood soaks the field. Sometimes soldiers die. You have to go on. I seek to rouse him. We have to be gone. He nods, mumbles, "Yes, ma'am," and raises his head. We stow our omni-tools and leave the dead. Onward, quickly, the dig site is near. Distant crashing and shouting and gunfire I hear. Then close, through a thicket, harsh shots ring out. Gleaming steel figures leap all about. A lone human woman, swift, pink and white, is running and shooting in outnumbered fight. Without a word we abandon the path. Through brambles and briars and boulders we crash. Strange vining plants grip us and tangle our heads. Alenko rips free and plows on ahead. For a moment I see him burning blue, hear the crack of his gun, see his shots fire true, see the light from his hands hurl the Geth to the cliffs, and then I'm beside him. The outcome is swift. The lone woman turns to us, panting and worn. Her tall form is straight, her armor is torn. She thanks us in tones both martial and warm. Her face speaks of woes she's had no time to mourn. Her enemies scattered about on the ground are robotic bipedals as lean as bloodhounds. Those long curving heads, I recognize Geth. I've never met one, but I know they mean death. They've never been seen out in human space, and why they're here now in this quiet place. I turn to the woman. Her story is brief. My name's Ashley Williams, gunnery chief. My unit is dead, wiped out by the Geth. They're coming here after our beacon, I bet. Well, I'm after it too. It's just to the south. She's calm and collected. I see she has nous. We three go on to the lip of a dell, a deep rounded hollow its paths travelled well. Down at the dig site the sun's rays are gone, and the darkness of evening is quite far along. The gleam and the clang of a swift metal body, slick sterilized white, shining and gaudy, and a Geth and more move in the shadows and stones. The tread of their feet is like breaking of bones. Alenko's bright omni-tool flashes, overloading their circuitry. His gleaming biotic force lashes the Geth at velocity. Williams is not a biotic, but boy can she handle a gun. Deadly and sharp, far beyond quick and knows which way to run. My biotic warp fields crumble the Geth. Had they been alive, they would now know death. Unliving, unbreathing, insensate steel. They do not live so they can't die or feel. They fall in the twilight down on rugged stone, and we three Marines are left here alone. We look for the beacon, but see it not. We spread out grimly and search through the spot. It was here, been moved. By us, I hope. Williams calls out from low on the slope. Nihilus calls me over the comm. He thinks it's been moved and may not be gone, but rather conveyed to the nearby spaceport, prepared for the Normandy's expected report. He says he'll be waiting at a tram nearby. Tells us to be ready, but doesn't say why. Back out of the hollow, into the sun, we take the main path from the site at a run. Around the bend and down an avenue, the valley and sky open up to our view. What is that? Hanging above the broad verdant vale, as big as the ridge where we stand on the trail, gleaming and flashing long arms of black, sending out lightning across its huge back, is the distant dark shape I saw in the sky. It looms o'er the world, all's darkened thereby. Its fingers or tentacles reach toward the ground. The air is filled with a terrible sound. That is the biggest ship I've ever seen, William exclaims as we leave the ravine. But is it a ship? Alenko asked. Well, it's more like a creature, come up out of hell. Down the hillside, out onto the plain, buildings and roads cross o'er the terrain. I see the tram station, like Nihilus said, but I see no one living, yet many dead. One gunshot rings out, one, close at hand. No answer follows. A car leaves the tram. We start down the slope. I see movement below. Dim figures running, no, loping. No. I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. My companion's eyes have grown large with fear. These are humans. Were humans. Are not anymore. What devilry's been here? What act of war? The things swarm up towards us, blind objects thrown, unnaturally without will of their own. I don't instantly shoot, not till I'm sure that they're coming to kill us, that that's what they're for. I call open fire with pity and dread, and the three of us mow down this horde of the dead. We've no words to say, what can there be said? But I stop ere we go to make sure that the dead are cold, and mere corpses, and not something worse. It's not. They were dead. It's a tactic perverse. The blackness hangs still in the sky like a curse. We go on, down the slope to the station below, farther down into this valley of woe. The station seems emptied of even the dead, silent and lifeless. I hope some have fled. Nihilus! I call. My voice echoes unanswered. The spectre comes not and says not a word. But near the tram a lone figure lies, a Turian, armored in familiar guise. Alenko goes to him, but we've come too late. He was shot from behind. Close quarters. Checkmate. What out spectre to spectre? So close, yet no doubt? Look there! Something's moving! Williams calls out. A man, living, breathing, has appeared near the rail. There's something yet living in this dreadful vale. The other one killed him, says he who's alive. Did you see what happened? How did you survive? Well, I was sleeping or catching a nap where the boss couldn't see me back there in the gap. When the real fighting started, I just stayed back. So you lived because you're a coward and slack! William's voice pierces the heavy red air. The man shrinks away from the blaze of her stare. I look at her, bearing the marks of her fight, face down alone with her sole single might. And I think of the fellows that she's left behind. And I do not wonder her tone is unkind. But I am just glad to see some have survived. If he has lived here, there's many alive. And what of the Turian? Who has killed him? The other one, kind of tall, pale gray, and grim. I think he knew him. He called him by name. This one was all tense and ready to aim, but he saw the other and seemed to relax. Then they were talking and he turned his back. He shot him. I don't know. Don't ask me why. Then he took off on the tram, really spry. What name did he call him? What did you hear? Nihilus. The other. Oh, let me think here. Saren, I think. No, wait, I'm quite sure. Saren or something or other he were. A really big fella, the color of tin, with mean, beady eyes. Look out for him. We leave him and Nihilus and take the tram out into the valley and over a dam, across broad green meadows and past walls of cream. They said it was beautiful. It's like a dream and yet a nightmare beneath. I see none of its folk but the gunnery chief. She stands beside me, stoic and grim, no tears in her dark eyes or on her tan skin. Others live surely, in hiding or flight, but I see no signs of still active fight. And still in the clouds broods the evil black thing, and through the air still I hear that dull ring. Far on the platform I see white figures moving, not men, they're Geth, I can't tell what they're doing. And yet among them I see a lone living creature. It's too far to make out specifics of feature, but he is Turian, that much is clear. He strides right among them without hint of fear, and directs like a master or an overseer. He's gone before the train comes near. We give the Geth battle, the few who remain. As we retake the platform, I see in a drain a cylinder blatantly out of place. Its little lights blink at a very fast pace. I duck out of the firing next to the drain, an explosive, fit to light up the plane. "Lieutenant!" I call. Alenko ducks down. I see that he sees what it is I have found. "Can you disarm it?" He nods and takes over. Williams and I stand by and give cover. Whole precious moments slip by as he works. Most Geth have pulled off, but still a few lurk near corners and ledges, sniping at will. I'm surprised that they're hanging around here still. "Got it, Commander. This one's disarmed." "This one?" "There's 4, synced together and armed. We've got minutes to find them. We have to move now. I've got leads on them. We'll get them somehow." We run through deserted, sunlit ramparts. After the signal, his omni-tool charts. The beacon's forgotten, or nearly so. I guess it is now in the hands of the foe. Yet the colony still can be partly saved. There's people alive here where roads are paved, and many more farther out in the rural lands. But these huge bombs will turn meadows to sands. The plains and the ridges, the sweet mossy dells. Infernos will crumble them into a hell. We disarm 2 more, but we're searching too long. Then, on a causeway we're running along, we see farther down where the last bomb lies, its little lights blinking like small evil eyes. The Geth rise up from behind the bulwarks. The heat of their bolts turns the concrete to sparks. We gain ground too slowly, dodging cover to cover. Enough! Lose this chance and we get no other. I strengthen my barrier and charge down the road. I dash in among them, they crash and explode. The barrier shudders but stems the tide. Alenko and Williams are still by my side. We drive our foes back and duck into cover, right near the explosive, our strength near over. Beside me stands Williams. We hold the Geth back. Alenko's crouched down, turning his back on the battle beside him, the fury and fire, working as though he did not hear their ire. His brown fingers spin, and his omni-tool whirs. Over his set brow his dark hair is stirred by the wind that throws up the dust from the fray, hurls it in our eyes, and throws it away. Williams' assault rifle and my shotgun cry out like mad hounds in the fast-sinking sun. "It's done!" He jumps up and hurls blue at the foe. The moments tick by, but the bombs do not blow. It's the Geth that collapse. They fall, move no more. Just then I notice I don't hear the roar. The sky has grown clear. The blackness is gone. It's only the soft red of sunset. Halcyon. We head back through the spaceport, searching the platforms, though the beacon must surely have long since been borne away in the hands of the marauding Geth, must surely now be in that black hulk of death. And yet, on a deck, a tall pillar stands, as if untouched by enemy hands. It stands unhurt, waiting for us, humming and greenly luminous. It is the beacon. Williams confirms it. But she is puzzled. It didn't emit a light or a sound when first it was found. Before it sat quiet and still on the ground. Like polar aurora, pulsing, singing, light dances up its cone, emblazoning. Dark steel with flickering green, mesmerizing. The sound seems to grow, a low murmuring. I shrug, turn away, and open my comm, to call to the captain that all is now calm. Alenko still watches as I pass by, strong curiosity in his brown eyes. The thing is lovely, strange, and old. For this he has fought, and Jenkins lies cold. I contact the ship, get Joker online, tell him the beacon still seems to be fine. Movement catches my notice. "Alenko!" He struggles as though in a strong undertow. It's dragging him toward the glimmering beacon, seizing him fiercely. He seems to be weakened. Over the deck, toward the beacon, toward him, I dash and I shout. The light has grown dim. His planted heels slip and his hands find no grip. The force picks up speed and his booted feet trip. I leap and I grasp him. The beacon grasps me. A moment I wrangle, then hurl him free. He falls safe to the deck, crumples down to the ground. But the beacon still drags me, it twists me around. Glimmering, shimmering, it won't let go. My feet leave the ground, I seem to be falling. Darkening, thundering, cruel shrieks of woe. Through them I hear my two comrades calling. "Shepard!" he cries. She shouts, "Lieutenant, no!" The sounds of their struggle fade from my ears. Sights fill my eyes like the shooting of spears. Fire and darkness, silence and screams. Foreign eyes sparkless, death swarms in reams. Shattering, blackening, gathering dark. Light flickers feeble, crush of the spark. Faltering, smoldering, perishing, gone. Raging untrammeled, dark steals the dawn. Dimly I know I'm still in the air, above a space dock on an evening fair. But this blast seems quite real, not like before. I'm thrown to the deck, and I know no more.